all of you beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Belle. I like to do readings on people that I feel drawn to. And today we're going to be reading on an infamous, notorious gangster, maybe the most well-known notorious gangster in all of American history. That goes by the name of Al Capone. If you're new here, I please ask you that you listen to what I'm about to say. The first is that I do tarot readings a little bit differently. Again, this is a safe space for all, so I look at individuals that are alive, that have passed on in a non-judgmental way. This isn't intended to be malicious or to spread false gossip or, false information. The intention behind these readings is to look at the person's life, to look at the person's journey in a compassionate way, an empathetic way. And we all come down to earth. We all struggle. We all have lessons that we have to learn. We all go through the motions. We all go through our journeys here and past, life on earth. So if you believe that, I do. So, yeah, the goal is to learn and to see what the energy of the person that I'm reading on, what they want to say, maybe look at some of the emotional, mental, spiritual journey or struggles that they went through, maybe some of the motivations that they had to do what they did that maybe they didn't get a good reputation for, and maybe to see if there's some regret, maybe lessons learned, some wisdom that they want to share, things like that. Another thing that I do differently is I spend some time channeling their energy, usually by looking at a portrait of them. So I spend a couple of minutes channeling, seeing what I pick up before I get into the reading. Now, I have been toying around and playing with a new structure for my videos, and this video would be the first where I put that structure and that new strategy into motion. So if you like it, please let me know. I'd really appreciate that. So before the channeling, before the anything, I do want to say viewer discretion is advised. Al Capone's life and legacy was unfortunately surrounded by violence, crime, organized crime. So viewer discretion again is advised. And also just a regular, thing to have in the back of your mind. Another disclaimer is that these are intuitive tarot readings. They're not to be taken as fact. Please don't sue me. These readings are meant for entertainment purposes only, and nothing that I say should be taken as, again, fact or replaced by professional or medical advice from those credible people. And please don't base your decisions on what I have to say on these readings. Please take it if it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. So with all of that being said, let's get into it. We're going to start off with a brief history of Al Capone. Timestamps are in the description box below, so if you don't want to know the history of Al Capone, no worries, just skip ahead. Alphonse Al Capone, also known as Scarface, was an American Prohibition-era gangster who dominated organized crime in Chicago from 1925 to 1931 and became perhaps the most famous gangster in the United States. Although his name was synonymous with organized crime, wealth, and violence, he was seen as a Robin Hood figure by many poor people of the time, as he made many donations to charities. Born on January 17, 1899 in Brooklyn, New York, Al was the fourth of 9 children to immigrant parents from Naples, Italy. He attended school until the 6th grade, where he dropped out at the age of 14 after striking a teacher. After dropping out of school, Al worked a variety of odd jobs and became involved in the local street gangs, including the Bowery Boys, the Brooklyn Rippers, and the 5 Points Gang. Before Capone turned 21, he had already been involved in several violent incidents, including assault and murder. One incident saw a young man slash Capone with a knife or razor across his left cheek after he made a crude comment. After that, he was known by the nickname Scarface. Later, Al Capone moved to Chicago to work for a crime boss, Johnny Torrio, who helped build the Chicago Outfit Gang. Al worked his way up in the organization and became Torrio's right-hand man. During this time period, Prohibition had made making and selling alcohol illegal. The gang made most of their money from selling bootlegged liquor. In 1925, Torrio was killed by a rival gang member. Some speculate it was Al Capone himself, and thereafter, Al took over as the crime boss of the Chicago Outfit. Capone turned the crime organization into a money-making machine. He became very rich selling illegal liquor, offering protection services, and running gambling houses, among other things. Capone had a reputation for being ruthless. He had rival mobsters killed and personally murdered anyone in his gang who he thought might betray him. Despite his growing reputation as a crime boss, he managed to stay out of jail by bribing the police and local politicians. He used his vast wealth to gain popularity with the people. During the Great Depression, it was Al Capone that opened the first soup kitchen for the homeless in Chicago. One of the most violent events that took place during Al Capone's time as crime boss was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. On February 14, 1929, Capone ordered a hit on a rival gang led by Bugs Moran. Several of his men went to a garage owned by Moran's gang disguised as police officers. There they gunned down and killed 7 of Moran's men, and it was at that point that the government knew that they needed to put Capone in jail for good, and that's when the FBI got involved. Capone spent a short time in jail for previous crimes, but the government couldn't gather enough evidence to put him away for good. A Prohibition agent named Elliot Ness decided to go after Capone's operations with a number of loyal and honest agents known as the Untouchables. Although they did try to raid a number of Capone's illegal facilities, they were not able to catch Capone for organized crime activities. They did, however, help the IRS catch him for evading taxes. On June 5, 1931, Capone was indicted on 22 counts of federal income tax evasions for the years 1925 through 1929. In October of that year, 1931, Capone was tried, found guilty on 3 of the 23 counts he was charged with, and sentenced to 11 years in prison, and also charged $50,000 in fines and court fees. He entered Atlanta Penitentiary in May 1932, but was transferred to the new Alcatraz prison in August 1934. In 1939, suffering from the general deterioration of paresis, which is a late stage of syphilis, he was released and entered into a Baltimore hospital. Later, he retired to his Florida estate, where he died from cardiac arrest on January 25th, 1947. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the history portion of Al Capone, and that is pretty much sums up what I know about him. January 17th, 1899, that makes him a Capricorn sun sign, which I use to connect with his energy. And all of the sources as well that I've taken this information from will be in this description box below as well. So next, I'm going to channel his energy looking at some portraits. And if I'm looking down, that's because I'm looking at the portrait. And I will include the portraits so that you can see what I am looking at. Okay, so this first picture that I'm looking at is a mugshot, and Miami Police Department. And so I'm immediately drawn to his eyes. He tried to look for pictures where the person is looking directly at me. That way I can look into their eyes and focus in and channel. Uh, there's something charismatic and almost like lovable and soft about him. I feel like he was, to those closest to him, maybe like a big teddy bear. Uh, I feel that he cared about helping others. And I feel that the way that he did that was by providing for them. So obviously he needed the money to be able to do that in order to help those that he cared about. I also feel that he felt like his money tied into his worth. Like he based his worth based on his capability of providing for those that he cared about. And so obviously with him rolling in dough, and there was an importance there that he felt that he was capable of giving and providing. There's also a sense of, like, with this grin, kind of, it's, I don't think he's serious in this picture. And I get the feeling that, um, like internally, he's kind of like laughing, saying like, this isn't going to stick. I don't know when this picture was taken, but it feels that it's almost, he's laughing on the inside, almost saying like, this isn't going to be as long as you think it'll be. Like, I'll be out in no time, because he had connections and he was able to buy his way in and out of things. So, okay, next picture. The scar is very, very, lot more noticeable. And I just get a big teddy bear, like a big, lovable. I don't know if his laugh was infectious, but that's what I feel. I feel, again, very charismatic. I feel very grandiose, like I like having a good time. I like the finer things in life. Oh, and this next picture, for sure, I feel like $1,000,000, probably because I am a millionaire. I love the finer things in life. I love what money can give to me. I love what I can do with it and provide to others. It's almost like, yeah, like I feel important and I feel like a good guy because I help those that I feel need help. And I also like the finer things in life. I like to look good. I like to feel good. I like to smell good. I like to just be surrounded by luxury. And so this last picture gives me a different feel. It's almost like I'm closed off and I don't trust many people. So the big teddy bear, the charisma and just the vulnerability, will not many people saw that, if any at all. You know, closed off. I don't trust. This is a man eat man world. I feel an internal struggle. I don't know what that's about. Maybe we'll get into that, but it's something with his emotions, and I don't know. I think that I'll ask about that in the card pull. And then this last picture, this one almost, it breaks my heart. I'm a very sensitive soul. Even though somebody causes harm to others, which I hate, but if I see somebody suffering despite what they've been through, it just, um, it breaks my heart. And so this last picture is kind of tough to really sit with. I feel that I'll get into the brief medical history that's known about him a little bit later, but there's definitely a decline that's happened in this at this stage. And what he was most known medically to have was untreated syphilis, which is a venereal or sexually transmitted disease. And I'm not a doctor again, so please. But if left untreated, this disease basically attacks other organs in your body, including your brain. And so there's stages to untreated syphilis. I think one of the stages is neurosyphilis, and you just see a cognitive decline. And definitely feel that here. I feel the incapacity for understanding, for I almost feel like I want to cry, like honestly, because how can somebody with this larger than life, grandiose sort of complex about them go from that to this, where I feel very lost. I feel very confused. I feel I don't know my surroundings. I don't even know who I am half the time. I don't know much. Like, I don't understand what people are saying. It's almost like I don't even speak English. Like, I don't understand the language, or just very lost, not there, struggle. So, yeah, it's a very stark contrast to the pictures that I was reading into previously. And this is sad. But at this point and at this stage, I can sense the impairment. So let us get into the tarot reading portion. So I have my deck here. Al Capone, please share insight on your journey, mentally or spiritually, or both. I'm going to do 3 cards to start with. Okay. Mental, spiritual. Okay. What else? Okay. So initially I wanted 3 cards and I have 4, which is great. Bottom of the deck is 9 of Wands being guarded. Makes sense. I feel that this Al had, obviously, I felt it, guarded. You don't let a lot of people in when you're doing what you're doing. But there's also a sense of paranoia. You don't know when, you don't know. There's a sense of paranoia that I'm feeling. Like, you don't know when the next shoe is about to drop. You don't know when. It's almost like you're waiting for it, and you're in constant kind of fear, anxiety, paranoia. There's a sense of tiredness that can happen because you're exhausted and fatigued from being emotionally at 100 all the time. So that's the bottom of the deck, the 9 of Wands upright. So the cards that came out that I asked for clarification on his mental or spiritual or any journey that he wants to share is, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse, 5 of Cups in reverse. Oh, sorry, upright. 5 of Cups upright, 5 of Swords upright, and 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So these 2 cards, to me, I feel obviously the regret for the actions and for the way that he conducted himself. Um, the Knight of Cups for me, it feels like a very kind of like a manipulative sort of energy, at least is what I'm feeling right now. Um, Also, just disappointment in self, but disappointment that while he cared to some extent uh, to help others in need, he didn't regard people as highly as he should have or wanted to, is what I'm feeling. And there's a lot of grief that he either is feeling now or has felt since his passing. This Knight of Cups, again, where on the outside, right, I felt you're charming, you are almost romantic, you're grandiose, you are, really have a way with people. Um, with it and being in reverse, it's almost like there's a selfish sort of reason behind you behaving that way. So that's what I'm picking up. Disappointment in how he treated others and how he regarded others. Um, I think that's spiritually, that comes through as a spiritual point. The Five of Swords, mental, that's upright. And then the Six of Pentacles. This to me, there's this sense of I need to win at all costs. And so that also led to his, I guess, disregard for human life. He Because he had to win at all costs, that's what I'm feeling. He stopped at nothing. So he was abusive. He used bully tactics. He manipulated his way to where he got. He lied. He decepted. He, created arguments and then, did what he had to do. And again, with this, which is funny because it's you see two things here. You have somebody who on the outside sometimes seem to really care about people in need. This card is showing me like I don't care about people's feelings. I am going to stop at nothing to get what I want, which is money and power. And so this to me says just how I got my way up in the ranks. I was sly about it. I was slick about it. It's also how I got my money. So selfishness and, extortion, clearly. Okay, so there's a little bit of regret there for how he treated others. Okay, so show me a little bit more of your journey, Al Capone, your internal struggles. We got the regret. What was going on within that made you interesting? What were some of the struggles? Spiritually, mentally, emotionally? Please shed some light. The cards are coming out in like packs. Let me see if you can see. So I don't want to take them. Well, I'll start with these two because that's what seems to want to happen. Okay, so the cards that came out, there were only two that I took. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And I can't read that. The Two of Wands in reverse. So a lot of the cards that are coming out are referring to selfishness, bad choices. And so there's, again, I feel overwhelmingly regret. some of the struggles that he experienced while he was earthside, plain side, was greed and not knowing how to balance the desire for money with literally anything. Like it took him over, because as I said, when I was channeling his energy, he felt his importance and his value and his worth tied to money and what he can do and what he can provide. So it almost feels that, you know, I'm only important because I have all this money. And that's kind of sad, to go on living like that. So the Two of Wands in reverse, I think, reflects just the poor choices that this greed led him to do or to make. Like, he was so blinded by, I just need money and power, that basing your life decisions on that was a bad move. Being impatient, not wanting to see things through, like I don't have the patience to let God do this for me. I need to do it myself. That way I know it's done. That way I can get my money, my power, my respect, and that stuff. What else? Okay. The Justice card came out, so the Justice card, the Six of Cups, and the Three of Cups. Now, bottom of the deck is Seven of Swords. And I feel like this card wanted to come out anyways. So, Seven of Swords talks about, obviously, deceit. It means you are not sharing everything. You're holding things in a malicious way. You can be like, it's like a thief. You can be stealing something, ideas. You could be manipulative, spying. So I feel that is how he spent his life when he was here. But the three cards that came out that I wanted to go into is the Justice card, the Six of Cups upright, and the Three of Cups. And I feel that this is all spiritual side. I feel that once he made the transition, there is an accountability that happens. And so I don't know if I want to pull a clarifier on that, but I think that it's just saying there's no way to avoid taking accountability, aka karma, for the actions that I took. The Six of Cups is, I feel that he's gotten to a place where he's back to his, in other words, he's already repaid that debt, that karmic debt. And now he's in a place where, in the spiritual realm, he is, just surrounded by his soul family. He is having a good time. Okay. Now, as the video said, he died at the age of, or I forget if it was 47 or 48. He died from a heart attack. Sorry, cardiac arrest. That was a result from a stroke. So, but as I mentioned earlier, he did have untreated syphilis. And so I wanted to, before I ask my next question, I wanted to insert here something that honestly I wasn't sure if I would do because I don't want to be canceled and I don't want my YouTube channel to be revoked and all of that stuff. But I'm a spiritualist, and if you're a spiritualist, if you're open to it, there's a book that's called Soul Speak. A brief about this book is, you know, everything that we go through on a physical level in our body. So your aches, your pains, symptoms, and things like that are a way for your body to communicate something to you. So an example would be, if my if I have problems with my knee or my ankle or something like that, my body's trying to tell me something. My body is trying to let me know what emotions I'm carrying or what actions I'm taking that are no longer serving me, or it's just something that I need to sit with and, speak to them about, my higher self, my angels, my guides, God. And so what I'm about to say next, again, please don't, only if you're open to it, take it if it resonates. But um, since he had syphilis, I wanted to see maybe what this book said on that. It would shed light on maybe some emotional things that he might have been going through. And so let's look. Again, Soul Speak, The Language of Your Body by Julia Cannon. I practice, I'm a QHHT practitioner. Her mother, Dolores Cannon, was the person that founded that hypnosis technique. Quantum healing hypnosis technique is what that stands for. I am a practitioner. So if this interests you and you're interested in a session, you can visit the website that I'll have posted below in the description box. But again, only if you're open to this. I don't want to get in trouble for this. So according to the book, because it started out in his genital area, the male, this I'm reading now, quote, the male sexual reproductive organs represent the man's masculinity. They are the male power zone. Problems in this area can indicate issues with your own sexuality and sense of personal power. Maybe you're afraid to step into who you truly are. There is a fear that you cannot handle the power or responsibility that you're faced with. Maybe you misused or abused power in another time or lifetime. In some way, for some reason, you are not stepping into your true manhood. Maybe you're not comfortable with your role in this life. Problems in this area may also indicate you either have not had enough or have had too much sex. It can also possibly be that you took a vow of celibacy in another life. Again, only if you believe in past lives. There's another section that is literally for venereal diseases. And let me see. Okay, venereal disease. Feeling shame or guilt with sexuality, may have taken a vow of celibacy in another life. So it could be abuse of power. It could be feeling shame or guilt with your sexuality. So this, I think that I'm going to be, I hope, I want to include some of these, I want to include this from now on in my readings. I think that I, I also share the same thought that when we go through things physically, it's our body's way of letting us know maybe what's happening, what maybe some of the causes are, or maybe what's just no longer serving us that we need to address. And so If you want to do your own QHHT session and figure out maybe some questions that you have about your own ailments or just in life in general, again, you can see the website in the description box below. Okay, so because of that, Al, please shed some light on what your body was trying to tell you. Insights on your passing. We've got the Star card that came out. What else, Al? Okay, Queen of Pentacles also came out. Okay, the Judge. So the same cards are coming out. Okay, Two of Wands in reverse wants to be the bottom of the deck now. So that card we already went over, but I'll keep it there. I'll keep it there for now. So we have the Star card upright. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse again, the Justice card again, and the Magician in reverse. So overall, the Star card is really a positive sign, a positive card. I feel that that's him more so in the spiritual plane, just healed. In other words, for lack of better words, healed, knowing and seeing the life that he lived, learning the lessons from it. And so Queen of Pentacles in reverse again talks about imbalance. It talks about impatience. It talks about, I feel, selfishness and greed, maybe overly demanding, maybe jealous. The Justice card is maybe so because of that, I had to pay my debt, my karmic debt. And what was the debt? Manipulation, greed. Again, it just keeps coming out. Being cunning, being conniving, trickery, theft, manipulation, and all of that. What would you like to share with us? Any wisdom? What can we learn from this? What can we all learn from this? Misuse of power, I feel, feels right. What can we learn? And there's Rue saying hi. The Temperance in reverse. Again, imbalance, excess, reckless, being impatient, wanting to do things hastily, not wanting to take your time. And so maybe the advice would be that with all things in life, maybe consider more balance and more patience and more harmony. Consider happiness and peace and joy within yourself. Don't let one singular thing, such as money, and what it can do for you, take over your whole mind, body, and soul like that. Like that's your mission and that's all you care about, because it's not going to be a very fulfilling life. And there's always karma at play. So, keep that in mind. There's also this deck that I wanted to pull. So, Al Capone, please show me the shadow work that maybe you struggled with, you didn't learn, you learned while you were earthside, earthbound. What some of the shadow work things that you went through, didn't learn? I don't know if I want to take all of these three. I'll take them. So, soul mirrors, something that he struggled with. Healing through art, and inner balance. I feel that what these cards are saying is, because he didn't have a very good image of himself, and he didn't have a good sense of self-worth, that tied into why he treated people as if they were disposable, because maybe he felt like he himself was disposable, like he's not worthy. I feel that this healing through art card, to me, says that there was a lack of inner child activities, or even just inner child healing that he didn't do. He didn't really allow himself to play. And so whether that was through art or whatever his interests were, I feel like he didn't let himself play enough. And then inner balance, again, there was no balance in his life. There wasn't really, it was just he was on a one track mind to like dominate as much as he could. And but with the inner balance, it's almost like he was running from something, and the money was the solution. And maybe he was running from the fact that he felt unworthy, but again, that money made him feel like he was important and worthy. And as a result of that, he wasn't able to step into the wholeness of who he really was, both good and bad. And so overall, I feel that Al Capone has reached a point where he's paid his karmic debts. At least that's what the cards are pointing to. And he's gotten to the point where he can see what he did. There's a sense of regret. There's a sense of, I regret treating people as if they were dispensable and disposable. There was, again, the karmic debt that he had to pay. And the lessons that he kind of failed to learn here on Earthside. In the spiritual realm, with the two cards that came out, the Six of Cups and the Three of Cups, I feel like he's gotten to the point where he's surrounded by love, by his soul family. He's in a good, positive space now. And I just wanted to say thank you to him for allowing me to channel his energy and his spirit. And yeah, as I tune back into him, yeah, it's just a deeper understanding and knowing what he did, what went wrong, the regret, the accountability, paying back that debt, but being overall in a much lighter, in a much more positive and loving space than he was Earthside. Maybe that's true for everybody, but it's as though he's saying, like, don't make the same mistakes I did. Don't treat people badly. Don't allow greed to overtake you and your soul and your spirit, to where it leads to an unhealthy imbalance. And yeah, allow more balance and more of your inner self, your inner child to play. Incorporate balance in everything that you do, so that you can live a more fulfilled life than I guess he did, I feel like, is what he's trying to say. So, okay, so I feel overall this reading gave us a very powerful look into Al Capone's struggles the regrets that he had, maybe internally and externally. And so I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this reading, on this new format and structure? Do you feel that this is true in pertaining to maybe his life, how he is doing on the spiritual realm? And do you believe that he has now since found peace? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next week. Bye.